or having a chance to create a turnover. We're right in position where if we can figure out those 2, 3 plays, you flip this around. I mean, you're talking 3-point game, 1-score games here that we're dealing with. So, but you've got to do that, and you got to figure that out, and that's our challenge as coaches. We got to make sure we're putting the guys in the right position. Got to make sure we're mentally prepared to play 4 quarters, and then have a positive attitude. You're not going to hear a lot of positive from the outside coming in. So you got to make sure that you understand where you really sit and the opportunities that you have sitting in front of you. And I know our fans understand that. I mean, you guys understand it. You're here, but you know that there's still opportunities.
We'll go next to Soren Petro.
And I'll have a couple as well. Coach, you've said a number of times, but a couple of things. I'm curious, is it the same couple of things every week, or do you feel like you're kind of chasing a couple of different things each time that you fix one thing and something else breaks down? How would you classify, that?
Yeah, well, you got to take care of the holding calls on the offense. So we've got to make sure we take care of that part. And then on the defensive side, when we have opportunities there, whether it's third down to get off the field, you got to get off the field. So those are things that we can work through. Guys are pushing through some things. George is out there busting his tail. Now he's got the bad hand and he's trying to work through that and get that taken care of. But a fumble that might be right there. Well, make sure you're following the play, get on the play, or an interception that goes through your hands. Make sure we squeeze the ball. So those are things we can take care of. Those are things that we control and we take care of. So I think we can pinpoint the things that are going on and work on them and fix them.
What about drops? I know you had a couple that resulted in big interceptions early on. You had a couple in this game that were critical moments. Is that highlighted just because you're not coming up on the winning side, and maybe we as media, you mentioned media, fans, coaches, we kind of forget about it when it's a win, it just kind of fades away, but it stands out more? Or do you look at? I know you guys chart all that stuff. Do you look at it and say drops are a bigger problem for us this year?
Yeah, well, we had the one at the end. I mean, there was one at the end, and Reid normally doesn't drop a football, so that's not his deal. And the Kelsey one there was a penalty on the play, so it didn't kind of negated that whole thing. But those guys, you talk about either one of those two, and they've made the great plays too. So I don't look at that as something that's hindering us. I mean, that's not something we've got to take care of the penalty part of it. I think Soren, as we go forward here, just get that taken care of. These things are happening at crucial times, and it takes you out of a flow. It might be a time that you're 1st and 15, 1st and 20, 2nd and 20. It takes you out of your run game stuff, the flow of that potentially, or whatever you have going at that time that's sending you forward. Now you're going backwards. And then likewise, you're using good plays. So you're using up plays when you do these things, and that's not a healthy thing to do.
One more, and this just the routes. Are you happy? Are the routes crisp, and is Pat and his receivers on the same page, and everyone, running the routes the way they should be run right now?
Yeah, they're doing okay. I was proud of 1 and 4. They both pushed through some nagging things there with the ankle and the hamstring to get themselves out there and to play, actually get out and play. And they had some big plays for us. But for the most part, yeah, they're on the same page with the quarterback.
Thank you.
Let's go next to Jesse Newell.
Hey, Sid, I'll have a follow-up too. Hey, Andy, you guys are plus 73 on point margin this year, and you're 6-6. I just kind of wondered what you make of those two things coming together.
Yeah. So we do have stats, and but you need points, and You need to make sure that you take care of business when you're in the red zone. If you need to score 35, you score 35. If you need to score 20, you make sure that you have more points than they have. And that's all three phases. I mean, it includes everybody. And we pick up, Jesse, you pick up, and you saw it in this last game, you pick up a play here or there. That's the difference in the game, and that's where we're at right now. And we've got to flip that around. And to do that, you've got to take care of some of these issues, and then it's a different ballgame. But you have to do it. I mean, I could stand here and talk about it, but you've got to go do it.
And the second one, I just wondered, you said a few years ago that Mike Frazier communicates with you on fourth down decisions in the headset, and then you have 51% of the vote. I just wondered, you guys have been one of the most aggressive teams throughout the course of the season throughout this year, but is that still the process that you go through on every fourth down decision as you hear from him and then you ultimately make the call?
Yes. I mean, he and I will talk during those or before those take place, or even before the game. We kind of go through all that during the week, So Frazier and I have a long meeting on Fridays, and just where he and I go through situation stuff and where we need to go with it.
Sorry, let's go next to Vahe. Oh, sorry, Vahe. Try now.
Sorry about that. You mentioned that about, maybe not agreeing with X amount of penalties, and without asking you to be critical of the officiating, what do you see as the remedies when you feel that way? I know you have to just concentrate on what you can control, but how do you try to address that either with the team or the league when you feel that way?
Yeah, so from a team standpoint, I just say we got to keep working on fundamentals and make sure we're staying sound on those. As far as the league goes, they give you an opportunity to express yourself. So, that's what we do. And then, right or wrong, you hope either we can learn from it or they can learn from it and see where we're at. So we can continue to coach the guys in the right direction.
Have you felt like you can understand the flow of that through this season? I know there's been some ups and downs with what you've probably tried to communicate and what's happened. How do you measure the feeling of progress or not in that?
Yeah,
With the league, I mean, yeah.
yeah. So you're never going to agree with everything. I mean, you're not going to do that. So you try to express yourself and then you move on. I mean, there's nothing you can do. There's never been a call that by me griping that gets changed. I mean, that doesn't, but you just hope that between the two parties, you come together and you can figure out what it is, like from a coaching standpoint, what I can tell my guys. And then two, maybe it can help an official. So, I mean, that's I found over the years, that's probably the best way and the only way to get it done.
Thanks, Andy.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. We got two left. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Kind of piggybacking a little bit on what Jesse was talking about as far as the point differential. You look at the drive statistics, your offense is number one in the league in a lot of categories, number two in scoring. The defense is top 10 in a lot of these categories. How do you reconcile that? How do you sit back and look at this and say, how does this team end up being 6-6?
Yeah, Matt. I mean, it's like, I'm telling you, it's a few plays there. That's what it is. And penalties are killers. And you want to create turnovers on the defensive side. And when you have opportunities to do that, you've got to capitalize on them. Third downs become important, both sides of the ball, how you handle those. So can we do better with the rush? Yeah, we can get a little bit more rush on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we can continue to work our protection and scheme there. So, but you can't allow quarterbacks at this level to stand back there and throw the ball with just comfortable feet. I think we know that. And so you've got to make sure that you have pressure on those guys. And when that takes place, then you've got to make sure that your coverage is tight. So, and that's what you work on. You go through that and you work on it and try to get better. You see teams 2 weeks ago, you looked at the Dallas Cowboys and you kind of went, they're just playing okay. 2 weeks later, they're playing good football. And so these things change. Things change quickly in this league, one way or the other. And so you've got to keep going forward, and try to eliminate some of the things that are taking you backwards, and do it with a positive attitude. It's the only way to go.
I'm sure you've looked at the standings. This isn't your first rodeo. You know that you pretty much have to win the next 5 games. If you lose one, you're going to need a lot of help to get into playoffs. What's your level of confidence that things can start going your way and that you can win these next 5 games in a row?
Yeah, well, I believe that. I mean, I believe if you're coming to me on this, Matt, I'm telling you, we're going to go after you every game. And, that's how we roll. We're going to try to tickle your tonsils on every play, every game. And, but that's the attitude that we're coming in with. And then you let the chips fall where they may. But at the same time, you got to make sure you take care of the small things here that we've got rolling. We've got to make sure that we get rid of some of these mistakes. But there's not a game that I go into that I don't think we're going to get after you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Matt. We'll go next to Todd Lebo.
Coach, I just wonder, for the last, however many years at this point of the year, you guys have probably had to find ways to coach and motivate a team that's kind of winning all the close games. What's the challenge like just for you guys as a staff to be dealing with these kind of things at this point of the year? Is it a little more challenging than years past for you guys as a staff?
Listen, every season is different. And this is a sport of challenges. That's what it is. It's probably a microcosm of life as you look at it. I mean, there's always challenges. And so to win a game in the National Football League, there's such a small margin between winning and losing that every week is a challenge, a major challenge. That's the way you have to approach it. And then you have to be ready for it as players and coaches. You got to be ready for that. And then when given opportunities, you got to take advantage of opportunities.
Thank you, Coach. That's all we have for today.
Okay, thank you.